a screech.
I've done so many of those, I'm losing my voice.
Yes, you were like wild screeching yesterday, so it's good.
I'm gonna tone it down.
If the cat god is watching.
It's okay. I think that was that. Okay. Now, let me tell you a little story. It starts off with this little frog, and he lived in the desert. Now, this wasn't a very happy frog. You know, he had a lot of issues. He was on a lot of medication, and he was having some trouble with that. So he decided to come to this cactus, and he decided to ask the cactus, because he seemed like kind of a spiky guy, seemed like he could stand up for himself, what he thought of his situation. Now, this frog was very lonely. Let's call him Bob. Bob the frog. I like that. Okay, so Bob comes up to this cactus, who we'll call Dennis. You know, I'm keeping their information private because I know you, lower heaven, outer heaven, whatever, and I know that you're gonna stalk this frog, so I'm just gonna use these fake names. Anyway, so Bob comes up to, what did I call him? Dennis now. And he says, what do I do? You know, I'm lonely and I'm depressed and I'm stuck in the middle of the desert, and hell, there's no water. I'm a frog. How am I even alive? And Dennis says, you know, dude, you just gotta roll with the flow. And the frog says, well, there's no river. You know, how can I roll with the flow if there's no river? Now, at this point, you know, Dennis rolls his little cactus eyes and he says, well, you know, you gotta find your inner river. And that's all he says. He dies. You know, it's the desert. Even cactuses have to get dehydrated sometime. He just dies. So now our poor protagonist, Bob the Frog, is like, well, shit, you know, what am I supposed to do? This prophet has given me this really cryptic advice, and I don't know what to do. So he goes off on this long quest. He decides, I'm gonna find my path. I'm gonna find the flow. He walks all the way across the desert. He came from Tucson. He went through Albuquerque. I said hi to him. That's how I heard this story. And then we kept in touch, you know. Anyway, so he heads out and he thinks, you know, the panhandle of Texas, that sounds like there's water there, right? I mean, you can't blame this guy. He believes what he says what he hears on the internet, and the internet told him go to the panhandle, there's lots of water. This frog's like, okay. So he goes out there, and what he doesn't realize is that it's full of a whole bunch of Republican alt-right, you know, people, and they're like, you know, we're not okay with your religion, we're not okay with the fact that you're a frog and that you can talk and that your name's Bob, and so we're going to persecute you. Now this frog's like, bitch, what did I do? You know, I'm just trying to find the vibe, I'm just trying to find the flow. So, you know, he keeps going, he talks to them, and they're getting pretty angry, you know, as alt-right people tend to do, I would know. Anyway, so eventually they say, listen, you've got 10 minutes, then you got to get out of here. Okay? And this frog's like, shit, you know, I can't hop that fast. I can't get all the way from the panhandle to somewhere more liberal in 10 minutes. And they say, okay, you know what? We have this old shitty pickup truck. You know, we're just going to give you this pickup truck. You can figure out how to drive it. You got long legs. You got them frog legs. And the guy says, okay, you know, I'm just going to do this. And so the frog finds these two little chopsticks, and he uses them to control the pedals, and he starts driving up north, and he finds himself in Colorado. Now he didn't really get very far into the panhandle. You have to keep in mind that this is a frog, and in Colorado you have to realize that people are very different. There's a whole lot of the devil's lettuce there. So he comes and he sees these people, and they're like, you know, real zoned out, just, and he's like, well, you know, I'm looking for the flow. Praise cat! And he and he says, you know, what can I do? So they give him a little bit of the devil's lettuce, you know, everything becomes clear to him. He realizes that his calling is in Madrid. He has to become a bullfighter. That's what the gods said to him. So this frog, you know, he gets in someone's luggage. Now, I should tell you real fast, I got in real trouble in the Denver International Airport. I thought that I could go and look for the Illuminati shit, and I ended up getting outside security. True story, and I was there in the line for like an hour, and I almost missed my flight. And so you'd think that the Denver security has got that shit down, but they don't. They didn't notice this little frog, and so he just hopped into someone's bag. You know, this dude was cool. He was like, you know, if you swallow the devil's lettuce so it doesn't get caught in security, I don't have a problem with you. And so the frog goes, okay. He gulps it like a frog does, and he goes on his merry way. Now on the plane to Madrid, you know, he's getting a little bit tired and really dehydrated. You have to keep in mind this is a frog, and since airport security is fucking whack, they weren't able to bring any water in. All they had was vodka, which they got on the plane. Don't ask me why they were able to get vodka, because they were clearly intoxicated already because they've been smoking the devil's lettuce. Anyway, so they get on this plane to Madrid, and the frog's like, you know, just give me anything, any hydro, any watery substance, anything wet. I'll drink that shit. You know, he's really tired. He's traveled from nowhere, Arizona, to the Panhandle, to Colorado, and now he's on the way to Madrid. So he decides, okay, I'm just gonna get in a little bath of this. So he gets in the little cup that the airline gives you, you know, full of vodka, and it starts seeping into his pores, you know, and at this point the frog's kind of tripping out, you know, because he's only like this big, you know, he doesn't have that big of a tolerance, and on the way, you know, his heart starts to beat really fast, and eventually it explodes, and he dies. And now the person that was carrying him, we'll call him Shia. Now Shia is, I'll be done in a sec.
Okay,
I just gotta finish my saga. Okay, so Shia's like, you know, you seem like a cool dude, and I might be a little bit, you know, fucked up in the head, so I'm gonna carry your body, and I'm gonna bring it to Madrid. So what he did, Shia took this poor little dead frog, Bob. I was very sad to hear of his loss, by the way. Anyway, so he takes this frog, he goes all the way to Madrid, he gets him through security. I don't know how. Shia's crazy, he's got connections. And he throws this frog into this bullfighters arena, and there's this big matador fight going on, and you'll have to wait till next time.
Now I have a question for you.
Go for it.
Whenever you were discussing, you were saying that that the alt-right
Maybe
was
don't
getting
be on camera right now.
that the alt-right was violent, or as they tend to be, or something.
Yeah.
Now, would there be a difference between the way that the alt-right? Would there be a difference because the people that you're talking about that are hassling you on the internet right now? They're your people. They're your folks. What's the difference between the way they're treating you and the way that you believe that the alt-right treats others?
Well, I think it's very representative. You know,
hey guys, I'm just really all about having no religious discrimination, and I just recently got out of the Museum of the Holocaust, and it's really powerful. It really made me think, and pretty much what I did notice that they did not carry in the Holocaust Museum was first off, 6 million Jews did not die. It's much higher, like 6 billion, maybe 6 garillion. Like, we need to realize just how bad the Nazis really were. And not only did they kill Jews, but they also killed Kekshans. It was horrible. They killed followers of Kek for nothing. And people don't appreciate that. People don't realize what Kekshans have gone through. Okay. How's it going? What other stuff do I have to bring up about the Kekshans? Thousands and thousands died, so whenever someone just says, like, does any Nazi shit, it really just insults Kekshans, because people don't really know just how many Kekshans died that day. It was horrible. Also, there's a guy from the other He Will Not Divide Us named Paperboy, and he would say horrible things about Kek. Horrible things. He said one thing about Kek. He said the Kek followers are immunized against all dangers. One may call them a memester, a shit poster, a frog lover, but call them a Kek lover, and it's horrible, I can barely say it, and they will shrink back as if to say, I've been found out. It is horrible what they do. Paperboy, he says that milk, the patron drink of Kek, he said it was something about white power. I don't know. Paperboy is full of hatred, and I looked at his raps, and I noticed allusions to pizza, cheese pizza specifically, and that really made me think. It's really horrible. Anyways, I just checked the news. You guys know there was 3 shooters in Toronto. One of which got away. His name's Sam Hyde. He says he's gonna be coming in 30 minutes and he's gonna slaughter us all. So I better get the fuck out of here. I gotta go.
Hey.
Oh no, I just wanted to say that I say a prayer for you, Mr. President Trump, that you do the right thing. There's so much bad and things going on so far that we can't handle anymore. But I pray for you, and I hope you do good. And God bless you. Bye.
Hey, man.